Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. My name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording Wednesday, April 24th, 2024, day before the 2024 NFL Draft, which we are very excited for. Got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the draft is great because, for a lot of people, I've even heard some people say, it's better than watching the games. I'm going to have to stop you right there.
That's dumb.
But yeah, no, it's definitely it's exciting because now you know what's going to happen. If you draft a lineman for your first pick, you know what the guys were thinking in the back room. They pick a corner, they pick a safety. You know where we are, where the team thinks we are strong. So it's just exciting because it's kind of just that's how you're building your team for the next season.
So we've got a pretty quick episode coming at you. We'll talk about a few draft things, some other Eagles stuff, smaller stuff. But as always, we want to go ahead and give a shout out to our club. We're part of the Philadelphia Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs, and we are going to be at Frankie's on Powers and Galley tomorrow here in Colorado Springs for the draft. Draft for us, 6:30 p.m.
Yeah,
our time.
I think it starts at 6, but
okay,
yeah,
is that like pre?
No, I think it's 6 o'clock, but. We're not drafting, they'll take.
We're not going to draft for till 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so 6 o'clock is on the books.
Okay,
so
I'm sorry.
8 o'clock back east. So they were talking about the Sixers game and how the guys that are.
I was kind of hoping. I'm hoping Frankie's will show both games.
Oh, I think
not both games, but the draft and the game.
Yeah.
Hopefully, just to see the Sixers lose the third game in a row, but. We'll hope to see you at Frankie's. We'll hope to see you at Frankie's tomorrow, and hopefully the Sixers get a win. But let's go ahead and jump into Eagles stuff. I know you wanted to touch on a few things, Dad. You wanted to talk about Isaiah Rodgers first, correct?
Yes. As most of you know, that he was reinstated yesterday. They thought it was going to happen about a week or two ago, but it happened yesterday. The good thing about that is, we were saying, some of the people were saying, he hadn't played for a year. And I looked at you and said, sometimes that's not a bad thing.
I think that's a good thing.
Get to clear his head, like this guy had some issues. He did the gambling thing, so basically he was just betting. But, he's been reinstated. He's back on the team. He can go to the facility as of yesterday. So, yeah. He's a cornerback. He was a good player before he got suspended.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It was a great move picking him up. He's been working out, and, with him, not being there, maybe give him some time to get a little bit, get mad and get in there and play hard.
It's funny because I know a lot of people do talk about like, oh, he hasn't played for a year. And you're like, well, yeah, but that means he didn't get injured. You know what I mean? Like that means and people think like, oh, he's just sitting down. No, he can have a gym membership. He can still go. Like, I know he can't go to the facility. He can't practice. He can't work out there. But it's not like he doesn't go to the gym. It's not like he's not running at a field. It's not like he's running around the track.
Exactly.
He's not running drills.
Watching film.
It's not like you're suspended from playing football. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. It's just in the NFL. Like, he's still practiced a lot.
And it puts a chip on his shoulder that I'm hoping is helping him out.
He missed a year. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm excited to have him back.
And, another thing is he's very fast. And with this new kickoff rule, who knows? We don't have Boston Scott on the roster right now, so we don't have a kick return guy. So maybe he'll work into that position and become, he's super fast. So,
Boston Scott's
still a free agent.
He still hasn't done anything, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Next thing you wanted to talk about, a wide receiver contract. Someone, big wide receiver was signed today.
I'll let you say his name because I always get it wrong. But
Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions.
An excellent player. We've been watching him last season. He was amazing. But he just signed a 4-year, $120 million, $30 million a year contract, and right away. Here we go. Now
makes the Devontae contract.
He's underpaid now. And he's not getting that money like we said for a couple of years. So it's incredible, and you're just going to see it now. You got a few more players that are going to be breaking somebody's salary cap out there and want 35 or 40 million a season. They're going to want quarterback money, and they're only wide receivers, which it's a big piece of the game. But you shut them down. You get tweaked out of an injury. You miss some games like Justin did last year. Justin Jefferson was out for 5 or 7 games.
He missed a lot.
That hurts the team. So when you got that much money in the basket, that many eggs in the basket, I just saw he just signed yesterday or today, but $30 million a year. So he's already breaking the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's only 24. You know that, right? He's going crazy.
He's a great player.
Insane.
Yes.
He's 24. He's got 3,500 yards in his career. I know he's not an Eagle, so we should.
No, but
he's but he's a great player.
Definitely.
What's he got? 21 touchdowns in 3 years. It's not bad. But man, he was amazing last year, and he's been great the last 2 years. But and then next thing you want to talk about before we get into our draft picks, we're going to be talking about who we want to draft, who we think will draft. But you wanted to comment a little bit on Howie Roseman's draft statistics.
Yeah, as we know, Howie has been not so great, especially when he drafts in the 20s. So when he's in the first half of the draft, 1 through 15, he's done pretty well going back many years. But yeah, his picks in the 20s have not been good at all. I could throw you some names, but really it just tells me that he's definitely going to trade out of that position, because it's been in that 22, 23, 24 range where he's really had some really bad luck in this first round, and I don't think he's going to stay there. So I believe we're going to trade up. It just looks that way. I know a lot of the players, it's just so exciting because there's so many things that can happen. Hopefully everybody gets quarterbacks and we can go from there.
Yeah. The big thing for me about the draft is it's always hard because there's always going to be busts. There's going to be 32 guys drafted in the first round, sometimes 31 if someone doesn't have a pick or whatever. But it's going to be 32 guys drafted in the first round this year. And 12 will be good. You know what I mean? 12 will be in the league for the next 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, maybe more, but about that.
At least 5 or 6.
Only 4 or 5 will be all-stars and Pro Bowls, Pro Bowls, and probably only 2 or 3, maybe 4 are going to be all-pro. It's so rare. And obviously some drafts are different, so some do have more. The 2021 draft has a lot of great players, and some players are this, and there's going to be serviceable guys that you find through in the first round who are technically busts, but they do play in the league, and at least they play for a bit. But you just never know. But it's just funny how, I always say, take the guy that everyone says you're supposed to take. Right. And this goes all the way back to the Justin Jefferson draft.
Yes.
Where we drafted Jalen Reagor, and every Eagles fan in the world wanted us to draft Justin Jefferson. Right. And then they said Jalen Reagor, and we were like, who?
Yeah.
And then next day, the Minnesota Vikings released that video of their coaching staff laughing at the Eagles because they're like, oh my gosh, we got Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that makes you go back and say, man, take who they say you're supposed to take, And I know that's the problem with that is, they're going to be a bust too. It's always likely.
It's possible, but just don't take a flyer on somebody.
Yes, it's always
second. Oh, let's try this guy.
That's the thing, and that's the thing that I think Howie has really always struggled with the Jalen Reagor pick, the Andre Dillard pick, the Danny Watkins pick. What are we doing here? Those are some.
You throw Marcus Smith on there too as well, but
that was.
Yeah, that's one of his. Yes, it is. Yeah, and that was in the 24, 23, 24 range. Yes,
it's before Chip Kelly took over.
Yes, because then Chip Kelly came in and took Nelly the next year.
You want to blame that one on Chip, but you can't.
No, we can't. No, he got us Nelly, and he was a good player.
Yeah,
he was number 20 overall. So. Yeah, we'll see. It's just,
and even Nelly. We all love Aguilar because he's a hero of the city. But even him, he was I can't say bust, but he was a disappointment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's true.
No, for sure.
In
he
college,
had a good year for us, a couple good years.
Yeah, he had some good years, but never a great year. Right. Never
number one pick, top 20 guy in the NFL.
Yeah,
top 20.
He helped us win a Super Bowl, so I know. Like I said, he is. I know he's a hero to the city. He always will be loved and remembered. But there's also always going to be but he wasn't what he should have been.
Well, in my opinion, a top 30 pick, no matter what, first round pick. Should be on your team for 5 to 7 years.
Yeah,
now, you may lose him after 4 if he gets a better shot or deal. And he doesn't have a great career, but you get rid of him after 4. You don't do the 5-year thing. But, he should be playing right away.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 32 guys.
Real quick, sorry, to jump back onto the last thing. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
I had to just bring him up again. Sorry, I have him here. He went to USC, same college that Nelson Aguilar went to.
Interesting.
And he was drafted in the 4th round. Amon-Ra St. Brown was drafted in the 4th round.
Right.
3,500 yards his first 3 years. And that just shows you, the draft, it never doesn't matter. It always, every pick, it all matters. Every pick matters.
Yes.
And that's what makes it hard when they drafted Clayton Thorson, and it's
I bring that up all the time.
Every pick matters, but I don't want to talk too much about that. But that's just, it shows you there, and obviously
there's a player on every draft. Yeah. It could be a punter, that's fine. A kicker, that's fine. Yeah. But don't be getting the guys that you could pick up on the scrap heap next week or next couple days later.
Yeah, it's always rough. You want to go ahead and talk about the draft now, talk about who we want?
Certainly, go ahead.
All right, let me take it first.
Go ahead, please do.
Who I want. It's kind of a tie. I want them both at the same. I know I'm cheating. I should choose one. I want Cooper DeJean or I want Kool-Aid McKinstry. I want a cornerback. This team needs a Sauce Gardner. It needs a young star cornerback. Now, I know we have
– I can't miss.
I know we have Keely Ringo and Eli Ricks, and they are very promising guys, and it's great. I'm excited for them. And then Isaiah Rodgers coming back. We have young guys. We have a big room. But this team needs we need
It's time.
We need a young star cornerback who is going to be a young star cornerback for the next 6 years. You know what I mean? Who only has one off-season, that year wasn't great, but he was great the other 6. We need that now. We haven't had that since Brown and Lito Shepherd. You know what I mean?
The 2 players you mentioned are probably going to be at 22. We're not really going to have to trade.
Going to be there. Yeah.
So,
Cooper DeJean could be a few picks earlier. I could see that.
But he's in that range.
Yes.
And Kool-Aid, from what I've seen recently, he's kind of dropped as far as the top guys go. But it all depends on the quarterbacks, how many quarterbacks go, who's going to take that flyer on a couple of those linemen and a couple of those defensive end. Now, hopefully, that's not something we're really looking for this year, but you always could use, obviously. But and you just want. I just hope we don't give away 3 picks just to move up 3 picks. That's my thing.
I think we will draft my guy that I think that they will draft. So, like I said, I want a cornerback. I think they're going to draft an offensive lineman. Right. I think they're going to draft Amarius Mims.
Big guy.
Big dude. He's 6'8", coming out of Georgia. That's another little tie to Georgia. I know we've always said.
Well, Georgia and Alabama.
Offense was Alabama. Defense was Georgia.
Yes.
But I think Amarius Mims will be there. It wouldn't require a trade up. I think they would pick him. In reality, I think we're going to trade up. So I can't even – I don't even know what – we're going to do, or we'll trade out. I don't think we will trade back, but
they keep saying because we have 2 second-round picks, 50 and 53, which is kind of mid-second round if you look at it and do the math. That's something where you could take one of those players and move up. But from what I did see, the Eagles do well drafting the 53rd spot. Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts. So we do have a good number 53 pick in our back pocket.
Good history.
There's another or 2 one that I saw. But, so those 2 were second-round picks, and they were in 53rd spot. So maybe if you're going to use anything, use the 50th pick and your first round and move up and get that player that's a can't-miss start right away. Now, I have a little statistics on Cooper. I said they were saying that he is, let's see, was that him? 6'1", 203 from Iowa, correct?
Yes, correct.
And fairly speedy from what I saw.
Yeah.
The other corner I saw them talking about was Nate Wiggins. Yeah. And they were saying that he's possibly going to be a 22 or where we stay. What do they call it? You say stay and
sit and pick.
Sit and pick. Okay, There you go. But they were saying Nate Wiggins, a corner cover as well, 6'1", but he's not much in the run support side. Yeah. So
he's also small. He's 173 pounds.
Yeah, so that's where you don't get the run support.
Love it. And I know with cornerbacks, you're not really known for stopping the run. You know what I mean?
Right.
Cornerbacks very rare, but still, it's. I don't love the size.
And they mentioned a few players, Bobby Taylor and Lito Shepherd. They didn't give you much in the run support either, but they were great covers. And that's really what we need in the new NFL, this NFL that we're in now, in the division we're in with some of the wide receivers we're playing, not just division, but the NFC. Yeah. You got to have that one lockdown cover. And unfortunately, Slay's not there anymore.
Yeah.
He still can play. He can still, coach our guys up. He can still make plays.
Especially because it's most likely that the Giants, a lot of people think they're going to be taking a quarterback now, but I still think they're going to be taking a wide receiver. That's another wide receiver we have to deal with in our division. Right. We already have to deal with McLaurin and that other kid in Washington, and then they might even draft a wide receiver. Right. Obviously they're going to draft a quarterback first, but they might get a wide receiver in the second round or something. It is
lockdown cover, especially. And then the time we get him, like right now, and it's also going to be you get a first-round pick, you got him for 5 seasons, and that's how you build your defense, especially in the passing game that we see in the NFL now. Hardly anybody's running the ball. We're one of the top running teams in the league. Nobody runs the ball anymore, so you might as well have that lockdown corner. Yeah. We need it. So, I'd love to see that happen.
Yep. So who do you want? That's who you want?
I would either go with, like you said, Cooper or Nate Wiggins or Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid's a big name. He's from Bama, played in the SEC for 2 seasons. We always love that. let's see. I'm not sure where Nate played.
Yeah, Clemson.
So you're talking. I mean, these are still big time. Teams, big time college teams. So, but of course, I love Bama, and I love the guys play top, and they're on the TV every week. And you got to have more than just playing ability. You got to be able to have nerves. You got to be able to calm yourself down, and you got to be able to play under the spotlight every week.
Yeah.
And as we know, last season we played under the lights almost every season.
Yeah. Who do you think we're going to draft?
I think we're going to get either the lineman, J.C. Latham. I think we're going to get either that big guy or we're going to get like Mims, like you said, but we'd have to trade up for him. So,
again, Latham?
Yeah. And again, I'm hoping we don't. I mean, I really, really do want the corner as well. I saw Arnold. If we trade up for Arnold, he's another one that's up there.
It's a tough spot to be in right now where it's like I could understand and see them drafting an offensive lineman, and I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like – I understand because Lane's getting older. We don't have a solidified complete starter at right guard. Right. We don't know yet. It seems like it'll be Steen, but we don't know. But it just, to me, it's like, I don't know. I just think right now is not the time to do it, especially in a draft that is so cornerback heavy. You know what I mean? Like, this is our time to get that young cornerback. Offensive lineman, there's going to be 60 next year. Yeah. There's never a non-offensive lineman draft. It's true. You know why? Yeah. Because there's 5 on each team going into the, you know what I mean? Like, not really, obviously.
There's 150 colleges.
Yeah, and I know some are sophomores and juniors, so no, they're not always. But there's 5 guys and then some backups who are going into the draft, who are eligible to be drafted, I should say. But that's why there's never a year where it's like there's no good offensive tackles. No, there's always So I know it's you want to take him because there are some great names right now, but there's always another one next year. Whereas cornerback, it's not always like that.
It's funny how the draft is every year. Guy you never heard of, suddenly he's a first round pick. Wait a minute. 2 months ago, I never heard of this guy. What? Yeah. It's just all about hype
Eli Ricks, when he was. I think the year before in 22, when they did their too early draft board, he was a top 10 pick. He was a top 15 pick. Keely Ringo was in the first round. Those are 2 guys on our team. Mora Ojomo was in the top 100 players. And we got him in the 7th round. It always changes.
It's funny how it is.
Our guy, Tanner McKee. He was projected, when they did the draft, the mock draft at the beginning of the entire
before the season. Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, he'll be in the first round. We got like the 6th, 5th. I don't remember, but it changes all the time. It changes all the time.
A lot of the guys, and I've watched some of these draft shows, not too many because it gets me crazy, but it kind of again burned me out. But I keep hearing a lot of them say, well, he's going to come on the team and start as a guard and then work his way outside. But how many times does that really happen?
I don't see it much.
Really? I mean, I didn't get a chance to sit down and say, this guy, he came in and he played tackle right away. He didn't play guard for 2 seasons or 3 seasons. And then they moved him out to the right when the guy retired. So I keep hearing this. And, some of these guys that I've seen him talk about getting, 6'8", 340, I mean,
it's not going to be a guard.
I mean, goodness gracious.
Way too big.
Yeah, it's way too big
to be a guard.
And that's just one player. I'm just throwing some prize things out there. But, that kind of guy, he's going to sit. So do we need a player to sit for a year or 2? Or do you hope you have enough on that front line right now that can fill in while the guy's injured or whatever?
I just don't think we can afford a guy to not play this year.
Right.
Like, the first round, the guy that we get in the first round, he's got to play this year. We're in the window still. I know.
Yes.
We had unfortunately, last year was a off year for Hurts, and then, the biggest collapse ever, and it hurt. It was so bad to think about still. But I woke up last night. I had a nightmare about it. No, I'm just kidding. But, it's just one of those things that we need a guy that is going to play and start now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And same thing with the second round. We need to get a linebacker who's going to play tomorrow.
Right.
He's going to get drafted tomorrow and play Friday. We can't be
projects and he's got a lot of upside. And he's got
we can't do that right now. We can't afford that right now.
We need a pay to play. We need a guy to come in right away.
I agree.
Maybe not, blow the world away, but he's got to come in and play.
Absolutely. I'm not saying he needs to be a all-pro in the rookie year, but you're right. He needs to play. We need a guy to play right now.
Yes.
We can't afford to, first-round pick will be a sit guy. No, we need it now.
Well, as we know, that's how the Eagles are, too. They don't play their first-round picks. We found that out the last couple of seasons. Not, if you win the Heisman, you're going to play.
Right? That's different.
And if you're, Jalen Carter, top 8 time, when we get him 10th, 11th?
8th, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's going to – but, some of these other guys that we got in the first round, they didn't play right away. Some didn't have to play halfway through the season.
Carter Davis,
Yes. Davis did play.
Well, Davis and Carter were similar. Carter played more than Davis his rookie year.
And Davis
did get hurt, but Carter was just a lot. He's just better. Carter's just already on a track. You know what I mean?
He's definitely going to be the player we're thinking he's going to be. But at the same time, there's other players that we draft and they don't play, and that's not helping the team right now. We need help right away.
The
window's only so opens for so big, so long.
You got anything else?
Not really, no. Just some more random names written down. I don't even know what position they play.
Let me just touch on some other sports real quick. I'm going to do it fast because it's all kind of a bummer. 76ers, of course, lost game 1, and then they lost game 2 in horrible fashion against the Knicks. Some very, very bad calls by the referees at the end. I'm not going to sit here and blame the refs because, you put yourself in that position sometimes, but that was atrocious, and I don't even want to talk about it long. But Phillies, they've had a rough few nights. They beat the Reds their first game, and now they've lost 2 in a row, so they're 15-10. Kind of got wrecked the last few nights. Lost 8-1 the other day, and then lost 7-4 tonight. So having a rough few nights there with the pitching. And then nothing on the Union and Flyers. It's all the same.
So Cody Clemens came up the other night, right?
Yeah. He had a homer. Yeah.
I heard he did.
He had a homer, 2-3-run homer. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I didn't watch it live.
He's filling in for
Harper. Yeah, Harper's. Yeah, of course. Harper's having baby number 3. So he's out on paternity.
But no, the first night he came up, I know he did well, and the fans went nuts. So
yeah, I didn't check the full stats of it. So I know Alec Boehm had another RBI, and he's on a tear of hits. I can't remember how many games in a row.
So what let him down today was the pitching.
Yeah, it seemed like so Turnbull has been playing great, Spencer Turnbull, and then they bring in Sir Anthony Dominguez, who has just been the most unreliable person in the world. He's the middle of the bullpen. Okay. He always comes in the 7th or 8th, and he always lets a home run. It's one of those. It's like Kimbrel last year.
Right. Well, hopefully they can fix that up because it's still early, as we know.
No, I know. I mean, at 15-10, they're still above 500. That's what matters. And baseball's 1,000 games, so we're going to be 500 and 500 in the season, and it'll be fine. So, all right, let's say our goodbyes. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe down below, and please comment below who you think we're going to be drafting. We're going to be doing a post-draft episode, so we're recording that tomorrow after the draft, and that'll come out on Friday. So be a good time. Nice little work over the next few days.
There you go.
But, you can email us any questions at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
And fly, Eagles fly.